Yo guys, it's Locke, and I'm back to talk about how to increase the ASA trigger nova with Fl4k. So for video purposes, my guardian rank is off. I haven't invested in any skills, and my gear does not affect the nova currently. So let's start off by talking about the class mods. First, we're going to talk about Deadeye. Deadeye allows Fl4k and their pet to deal 35% additional damage against enemies above 75% health. Now this is red health, so if enemies do not have red health, you'll constantly be doing 35% additional damage. So let's test it out. I have not unlocked an action skill. So the base damage is going to be 43k. And with Deadeye on, it does 59k. So next, let's talk about the Cosmic Stalker. The Cosmic Stalker indirectly increases the Nova's damage based on the hunt skills that Fl4k uses. So Cosmic Stalker, Fl4k's hunt skill power is increased by 25%. Now that will increase all his hunt skills like Interplanetary Stalker or Hunter's Eye or Frenzy by 25%. The skills that can roll with this is Big Game, Interplanetary Stalker, and Hunter's Eye, and I'll explain why those are good for increasing the Nova's damage in the skill section. Next, we go to Trainer. So the reason why you want Trainer is not for the effect, but for the skills that it can be rolled with. So the skills that can be rolled with is Pack Tactics and Grim Harvest. Next, we'll go to Bounty Hunter. And Bounty Hunter is a good class mod to keep all of his hunt skills, kill skills up by dealing gun damage by 3%. It can also roll with the Most Dangerous Game, Frenzy, and Hunter's Eye. Lastly, Rack Pack is a class mod that you mainly want for the skills. The skills being Pack Tactics and Grim Harvest. If you're running a rack attack build, you can also use this for even more damage. Alright, now let's head to the artifacts. And the only artifact that I found that could increase the Nova damage is Elemental Projector Victory Rush. The Elemental Projector, while suffering an elemental effect, increased the damage by 108%. And the Victory Rush part increased our damage after killing a badass for 60 seconds. Now let's move on to class mods stats and artifact stats. So the stats you want to roll with is splash damage and action skill damage. I actually recently learned that action skill damage can affect the Nova's damage. And for artifacts, the artifact stats you want area of effect damage and incendiary damage. So I'll show this off with splash damage. So our base damage was 43k, and with the splash damage class mod, we're gonna do 58k. And just so you know that Frenzy and Hunter's Eye does not affect the damage in this case. And for AoE damage, you gotta wait till our skill recharges. We do 62k. I currently do not have a class mod with action skill damage. And I could show it on another class. So I'll be right back. Okay, so we need to know the base damage first. Let's throw this out.
Could use some cover.
Doing 48k. Now with an action skill, I'm doing 66k. Do I have any incendiary? I do. Okay, so this has incendiary damage. And so our damage was 66k and we just did 79k. Alright, now back to Fl4k. I'm back and let's take a look at his red skill tree. So the first skill is Interplanetary Stalker. It is a hunter's kill skill. Whenever Fl4k kills an enemy, they gain a stack of Interplanetary Stalker. For each stack of Interplanetary Stalker, they and their pet gain a bonus to all damage dealt. And so it says that the damage you get is 2% per stack, and I believe at 5 out of 5 it's 10% per stack, and it stacks up to 3 times. So remember, our base damage is 43k, and now let's put in points into Interplanetary Stalker, and we need to somehow proc that, so we're gonna use Bounty Hunter to activate any purchase hunt kill skill when dealing gun damage, and the skills above do not affect and doesn't have splash damage, so it should be the same base damage. And
Sky's fury.
See, it should be the same base damage. Now I gotta wait for my skills. Let's proc Interplanetary Stalker. Got 1 stack. Should give us 10% more damage and 55k. Alright, next skill. Let's take off the Bounty Hunter because we don't need it anymore. Is Hunter's Eye. So Hunter's Eye, Fl4k gains bonuses when fighting different types of enemies. We really just want the armor damage, and this gives us 6% of armor damage versus robots. So we're gonna go to Electro City to test that. Promethea, Electro City, and I'll meet you guys there. Alright, so we are in Electro City right now. I'm gonna test out the base damage, and the base damage is 387k. Oof. Hold on. Let's test it on this fixer bot. Just in case. Should be the same. 387k. Just run around a bit. Try not to die. Spends those points. Oh shit, they're coming for me. And there we go. 503k. Alright, and going back to Sanctuary to test out other stuff. Alright, next skill we're going to talk about is Big Game. Big Game indirectly increases the Nova's damage from all the Hunter skill, like Interplanetary Stalker and Hunter's Eye. Oh yeah, Hunter's Eye is a Hunter skill, but it's not written out. People figured this out on the Fl4k compendium on the Gearbox forum, which I'll leave a link in the description if you want to see it. But This will increase our damage overall because it increases it by 30% at max skill level. So currently we're still doing 43, right? And we're doing 55 with Interplanetary Stalker. So let's get, wait, do I have, no I don't. Okay, so now let's get a stack, and we should do a bit more, 57 instead of 55. All right, next we're gonna move on to Grim Harvest. This was an interesting skill. I didn't know that the Novas were affected by action skill damage, but apparently they are. So remember, our base damage is 57. Oh, because we still have Interplanetary Stalker on. Let's just wait for that to finish. And we need to wait for our cooldown too. So again, should be 43. And this is gonna give us 50% action skill damage. And once my cooldown is back, we can test it. 2, 1.
Go now.
Check out this damage, 65k, from 43k to 65k. This is actually really crazy. Alright, now let's move on to the green tree. So there's not really much skills that will increase our Nova damage, but they are pretty essential. So let's just go down the list, get some random skills that don't affect our damage. And so now we're at Hidden Machine. When an enemy has no target or is attacking a different enemy, Fl4k deals increased damage against them. And at 5 out of 5, this is 30% increased damage. So let's make sure what our base damage is, because we have skills up. We have our skill tree is full. So our base damage now is 65k.
Good for your beak.
So now with Hidden Machine, we're gonna get an extra 30%. And now we're doing 85k. And let's keep going. And now the power inside. So Fl4k and Fl4k's pet gain increased damage when Fl4k activates an action skill. If Fl4k is at full health, the increased damage is doubled. So if we're at full health, we'll do 50% damage, and if we're not, then we'll do 25%. So our base damage was, I believe it was 85k. And now when we get the power inside, just wait for our cooldown. Okay, we can make this a little bit faster. And now
Fury.
it's doing 127k. And that's pretty much it for the green tree. Now let's move on to the blue tree, but we gotta respec because I don't have any more points. And I'll see you guys back when I have respec. Okay, now I'm back with a fresh, clean Fl4k, and let's get down to some skills. So Frenzy, this is gonna be hard to show, but it does increase the damage. You're gonna have to take my word with that. At 5 out of 5, it'll increase it by 4% per stack, and you can have a max frenzy stack of 10, so at max stack you'll do 40% damage. So let's just keep going. It's not gonna do anything. And we go to Barbaric Yop. So Barbaric Yop indirectly increases the power of pet bonuses granted to Fl4k. So say the Great Horn Skag gives us 5% damage, 10% gun damage. So at max 5 out of 5, we're gonna get 200% pet bonus. So currently I don't have any pets, so it's not gonna affect me yet.
Strip them bare.
So we're doing 43k, and if we get the guard skag, we're gonna be doing 50k. And then the next skill is Pack Tactics. This gives us 7% damage dealt by Fl4k and their pet. And at max, it's 21%. So we were doing 50k with the skag. Now we're doing 59k. This is a really good skill to get. And that's the end of the skill section. Now let's go to which pet will increase your damage, your Nova damage. So I've already shown off the guard skag. All the skags give you the damage increase. So any skag you want, you can use it. The next pet is the Spider Ant Scorcher, which gives us elemental damage. Without Barbaric Yop, it would do 10%, but with Barbaric Yop, it's gonna be doing 30% elemental damage. Alright, lastly is the Anointments. And since we have ASA trigger Novas on our weapon, the only Anointments we can get is from our shield and grenade. So for shield, you can get action skill and gain 50% bonus radiation damage with the weapons for 10 seconds. So this will increase our damage, but it won't increase it that much. Because the reason why is that it uses the base damage from the gun card. So it's gonna do 50% of 25k damage. So let me show you. So it's 59, and we get 17k radiation damage. And I'll probably put the calculations on the video. So now we can also get on grenade thrown, weapon, grenade, and action skill damage are increased by 25% for 6 seconds. And the reason why is obviously the action skill damage by 25%. So let's get that. So we're doing, what were we doing? 57? 59k. So now if we throw our grenade, we are doing, can't see it, it looks like a 74k. I believe it's 74k. Let's do it again.
Distract them.
Yeah, 74k. And that is pretty much everything I found with Fl4k that increases the Nova damage. Now, if I said something that may be wrong or may have not found, please comment about it and I can do some further testing. I hope you guys learned something. I definitely learned something about testing all this, mainly that the Novas are affected by action skill damage. I would have never guessed. Does that mean like other action skill active anointments are considered action skill damage? That could be kind of interesting. And lastly, I just want to thank its term and the people that watch and subscribe to my channel. I'm still learning how to video edit and learning YouTube stuff as I make these videos. And with that, I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.